Welcome to Travelpreneur. I'm your host, Megan McSwain. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Dina Farmer, founder of Lily and Magnolia Travel. Lily and Magnolia Travel is a pioneer in providing joyful travel experiences specifically designed for families with children or family members with autism. Dina's expertise and dedication in creating exclusive travel opportunities have earned her the title of Certified Autism Travel Professional. Hi, Dina. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Megan. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm super
Course.
excited.
It's a pleasure. So I want to hear the story behind Lily and Magnolia. What motivated you to start a travel business specifically geared toward parents or family members of autistic children?
So to be transparent, I am a mother of two autistic little boys, and I had my travel business prior to my oldest son's diagnosis. And while we were on the journey of getting him diagnosed, I noticed just little intricacies of challenges in regards to travel. I remember I've told the story before that a trip to the Walt Disney World resort that resulted in kind of a difficult journey for my oldest son, which
Oh,
what really made me like think about my business in a different way and say, wow, if I'm struggling with this, there must be other families that have children out there that are also struggling, especially in regards to sensory needs and autism and other cognitive disabilities. So I went to Walt Disney World and then I went to a travel conference. And at that travel conference, I started talking about my experience with other travel agents. And it was at that conference that I said, oh my gosh, like, why isn't anybody else doing this? Why aren't other people helping families with autistic kids? And from those two experiences together, I decided to pivot my business and really, in a way, help my own family, but
right.
also help other families,
So you said you were in the business already. You were a travel agent?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And so let's discuss, like you mentioned, Walt Disney World, for example. I mean, I can only imagine because
Oh,
going there is already such an overwhelming experience for families. So I can only imagine. But let's discuss the special needs and considerations of travel planning for families with autistic children that people might not immediately that might not come to mind immediately.
right. So, especially if you don't have that experience or, you don't think about these things all the time necessarily. Like some of the big things can be struggles with elopement because a lot of which means running away or walking away without letting anybody know, especially if a child is uh there's so many different terms nowadays, but level 3 autism or lower functioning autism, it can be a very scary experience. So
Yeah.
being able to like walk through those steps with your clients prior to them going on a trip, considering things like loud spaces, colors can even be very overwhelming to some autistic individuals. And there's a whole like laundry list of things to really think about prior to that trip and how much prep that needs to be involved before you even get on the airplane or get into the car or the
So,
cruise ship.
like, for example, if you're working with a family, I mean, and I know this can vary, but what kinds of timelines do you guys look at? Like, are you starting months before their travel, weeks before? How often does that play into it? Like, when do they get started with you?
Typically, it's about 6 months to a year prior to their trip, and that's so that we can go over dry runs. Like I have several clients that have children that flying on a plane is terrifying. Like they've had a previous experience, and then flying on, like thinking about it again. Like how do we like help prime that child to be able to be comfortable in airport? When that's with programs like Wings for Autism that has dry runs at airports, and I know there's a bunch of other airlines like United. Allegiant, JetBlue all have different like practice to go to the airport, get on the plane, go to baggage claim, and that's just amazing that we can take those steps prior to their trip, so that although I can't guarantee it's going to be the smoothest trip on the planet
Right.
Earth, right? At least we're practicing for it, so that way they kind of know what to expect,
Right.
and that I love having that large amount of time so that we're able to do that rather than saying, well, next week we're going we're
Right.
going on
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. So it sounds like you have resources for this type of business, but what were some of the obstacles that you faced when you started this kind of business? Were you sort of like, okay, where can I look? Who can help me with this kind of very specific target audience?
I will say I decided to pivot my business in 2020. So that was already a challenge within itself. But then when I did pivot, it's been almost 3 years now. Oh my gosh. And it felt like there wasn't a whole lot out there, and there wasn't a whole lot of other certified travel, autism travel professionals. So it was just really like asking a lot of questions. And then I joined the organization, the IBCCS, which stands for the International Board of Credentialing and Continuing Education. And they're I know it's big mouthful.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. And I'm surprised that I remember it because I frequently forget. Um, but they're kind of the pioneers in getting not just the travel industry certified and trained in autism awareness and autism training, but also other sectors like hospitals and police departments and other attractions. And it took me a while to find them. And when I finally did, I felt like there is somebody that is out there besides myself who's also actively providing um, and working in the community to get resources to help autistic individuals travel and their families, you know.
This episode is brought to you by TravelPayments.com. Travel businesses have unique needs when it comes to credit card processing. From large average ticket sizes and tolerance for higher chargeback ratios to simple integrations with the most popular shopping cart systems, the travel industry specialists at TravelPayments.com have you covered. Unfortunately, many of the most popular credit card processors initially accept travel businesses, but without warning, freeze their merchant accounts and the thousands of dollars in them because these service providers don't understand or support the unique needs of travel industry business. Don't get stuck with one of the big guys who will freeze you out without a moment's notice. Instead, work with the travel industry specialists who will support your business every step of the way. Visit TravelPayments.com to get a free quote today. Do you have, I'm sure you do, but if you could share, I would love to hear some success stories, maybe people you've worked with that this really made a difference for them in their travel plans.
Yeah. Oh my God. I feel like there's so many.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a great thing.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that it's been is when after the trip has gone on, and thankfully a lot of the clients we've started to build a rapport and become like more than just client professional. It's become friendships, but hearing them tell me the confidence that their children are building, like after each trip has been amazing. Something like um speaking more or advocating for themselves more because they've been put in a situation during travel that kind of forces them outside of their comfort zone. Because you know how you get in your bubble and you don't, you do the same thing every day, you have your schedule, but when you're traveling, there's all kinds of different things that you're put into different situations. So something as simple like I need to go to the bathroom and I want to ask somebody, and my parents may not know, or an adult too. I just need to know where the bathroom is and how can I advocate for myself to say,
Right.
where's the bathroom? Something big like that. But um, there's just been a lot of confidence building, which I'm just like, okay, I think I'm doing. I'm
Do you
stepping in the
have
right.
do you have a place where people can like provide you testimonials and like feedback and just like thank yous for the service that you've offered?
Yeah, so I'm a part of a travel consortia called Travel Leaders, and that's where most of my reviews are at, where people have shared their stories with me, which I'm so thankful to read those because I'm just like I see each and every one, so it's
Yeah.
been amazing. And then of course Google, but mostly it's been Travel Leaders, and because I feel like that's you have to do a little bit more work to put your review in
Right.
there. But it's
Um,
just been really it's been amazing, like seeing the kids, because I mostly work with families and seeing their confidence growing, and then hearing different things that some families that have children that are in therapy, like not only have they worked on those things in therapy, but then to see those skills translate during travel, it's just like, like so great.
so you mentioned you have two sons that are autistic, right? So I'm sure, I mean, this is obviously a part of your daily life and in beyond travel, but how do you promote awareness and understanding of autism within the travel industry with people that you work with? Or, I mean, because you were already in the business before you launched this.
Right. Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I mean, I talk about it a lot, and I have my own blog that I talk a lot about my own personal travel and the challenges that I have. Um, as a parent myself, right? And it's not always rainbows and butterflies with traveling for us either. So I share the challenges that we face when traveling. I've been on a lot of podcasts to talk about traveling as well. And I have my own podcast, and I just talk to other travel professionals that might be interested in learning more about becoming a certified travel professional, because there's not a lot out there.
Right. Yeah.
Which I wish there was. I know a handful, which is sad. I would like to know like 40, 50 of us, not.
Yeah, well, hopefully, if they're out there, they're listening, and y'all can connect, and that's what we want. I mean, you have to be kind of loud when it comes to these things, so
Yeah.
that the right people can hear, and then there's more awareness, across the board. Do you think that the industry is changing to better accommodate travelers with autism?
I think since I started, like I said, in 2020 with pivoting, a lot has happened in the last 3 years, and it's been kind of amazing to see. Because maybe because of the pandemic, there was a stop for the travel and tourism industry to look at the world and go, we have more than just typical travelers. Like there's so many different, people of color. There's, people with disabilities. There's so many different people that are willing and want to travel the world. How can we better tap into those sectors to be able to make travel more inclusive?
Right.
And a lot has been done. I will have to say, the country of Dubai, like, well, you guys are amazing. They've done a lot in the last year to make Dubai an autism friendly destination, which they just got certified with that, which I
Wow,
was like, wow,
that's
that's,
interesting.
yeah.
That's very cool.
They're the very first one in the world. So that's amazing.
Yeah. So this is obviously a very niche business, a very niche travel business. What are some of the ways that you went about defining this in the travel industry, as far as like, I mean, obviously word of mouth, doing the
Right.
work on the podcast, you're talking to people. What about like marketing or networking? How does that kind of play into this?
I guess it's really been like word of mouth marketing,
Hmm.
and then talking with other travel agents in different Facebook groups, and creating guides to talk about like my niche,
So I'm
because
guessing social media plays a big part of it because you're able to connect easier.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't feel like it would be nearly as easy, especially with my niche, because it can be pretty isolating sometimes with,
Right.
you know, being an autistic parent and then having like nowhere to really talk to when you're in your daily life. So
Right.
um that can be a struggle, but I feel like with having social media, that's been like my biggest place to have my soapbox.
Yeah, social media can be, we always, a lot of people complain about it sometimes, but it's such a savior when you really want to. I mean, when you're looking for what you feel like is a small group of people, all of a sudden, zoop, they're all there on social media
Yeah.
to connect with them. So yeah, that's always very helpful. Is there a service provider or software that you use in your travel business that you would recommend to other travel businesses?
Oh my gosh. I think every travel agent, regardless of where you're at, even if it's like day one, everybody needs some kind of CRM. And my favorite CRM is Travel Joy because it has, not only does it have like, it accepts payments, it accepts like, client information, but they also have itinerary builder built all in one place. So I'm not pulling from a bunch of different places. I have it in like one
Yeah,
convenient place, and
yeah,
it's
that's
so
helpful.
easy. Yes.
Cool. Do you have any
Here I am.
advice for entrepreneurs looking to carve out, like, let's say someone wanted to do something like this, but they're kind of like, well, where am I going to get my customer base from? Or do you have any advice for someone who might want to do kind of something similar?
Trust in the process. And I know that's so cliche, right? But I think that's the biggest thing, is like it feels so wrong until you just get into it and you start really finding your reason why you're doing it. And my why, of course, are my kids. And then through them, it's been other people's kids who also are becoming
Yeah.
my kids. So I think it's just really finding that reason why and then continuing to push, because there's people out there that do need you. And I've been finding that through the business, that hearing the stories or talking to clients that are like, oh my gosh, like before you, X, Y, and Z happened. And now that I'm working with you, it's just like, I just don't have to worry about it anymore. And,
Right.
and, and they can talk to me because I get it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like I get it when your child's having an autistic meltdown in the airport. Totally get it. I get it.
And
We don't feel
sometimes
like
people don't know that there might be a need for a certain business until it's there.
100%. 100%.
What's the future of Lily and Magnolia? What do you see? What's your vision moving forward?
Oh my gosh. I have so many ideas.
That's great. That's exciting.
I mean, someday, of course, like I would love to branch out and have my own, travel agency myself and then have agents underneath me. That would be like the dream, right? Somewhere in the future, that would be fantastic. I have plans. I'm slowly writing a book. It's just not, it's not out there. And it's just to help families that maybe they don't need my services, but they do want to DIY their own trips, and having a book out there to really help you get started on your own. And I'm working on a YouTube channel. It's just taking for it's just taking forever.
You're a busy gal.
Yeah. They're all here and on paper. I just have to get them out into the world.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you will. I have a feeling that you are on the right track. For listeners who want to get in touch with you or listen to your podcast or watch your YouTube channel or keep up with Lily and Magnolia, please share your website and social channels and all of that.
Absolutely. So I'm on Instagram and now Threads. Oh, the name
Yeah,
of the
threads.
again. Oh my gosh. I feel like we're just shouting in the dark with Threads right now, but it's
We'll
magical.
get there, and you will be one of the first ones that were there.
I know. It's so true. But you can find me, my handle is at Lily and Magnolia Travel for both of those. And then I'm also on Facebook with the same handle at Lily and Magnolia Travel. My YouTube channel is also the same thing.
Great,
at
that
Magnolia.
makes it easy.
It's all the same. And then my website is www.lilyandmagnoliatravel.com. And that's only 2 L's, not 3. So
Got it. Okay.
yeah, Lily.
Well, thank you so much, Dina. You are really doing some amazing work. Good luck to you. I will definitely follow along and wait for the copy of the book when that's ready. It was wonderful getting this insight. We look forward to speaking with you again on Travelpreneur.
Thank you so much. It was so fun talking.
Yes, definitely. We'll have to talk again, catch up. Take
100%.
care.
You too.